All right. Can you just monitor audio just to make sure everything's okay? And Bishop, we're good to go. So I think just for the sake of our editor, if you can give us your full name, spelling, and your title and organization, just so we have it on camera, and we're going to check audio one last time.
My name is Terence Prendergast, Terrence, Prendergast, SJ, Society of Jesus, and I'm the Emeritus Archbishop of Ottawa, Cornwall.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that. Okay. Now we're going to start off with a few establishing questions. I think Scott wanted to maybe ask you something a little bit higher level.
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
All right.
You ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. So, Archbishop, would you share with us, what does Magus mean to you?
Well, Magus is a way of saying that we are not striving just for ordinary things, but extraordinary things. Magus means to go beyond. We can say satis is enough, but enough is not what we want. We want the kingdom of God, and so we sought for Magus, the greater good. The motto of the Jesuits is for the greater glory of God, because everybody can work for God's glory, but we want to go beyond it. So that's what Magus means, to go beyond.
Terrific. So,
excellent. Just leave space before and after. No, it's okay. But that was fantastic. That was good.
Are you going to be okay though with it?
Yeah, no, it was just there on the line.
So, Archbishop, what distinguishes the nuncio's approach as a spiritual and diplomatic leader?
Archbishop Jerkovich, from the time that I met him in Ottawa, just after he arrived, struck me as a very warm and cordial person. He strives to meet all the diplomats who are in Ottawa, so all the diplomatic corps, as well as all the members of the church in Canada. His task is to find bishops, men, priests who are leaders who can take over the responsibility for diocese and country. So that's the main job that he has, but his main job is to represent Pope Francis to Canada and Canada to Pope Francis. So as a diplomat, he's charged with taking the temperature of the country and reporting it back, and then helping the Holy Father to respond to that.
And wonderful. Going over and above with that as he's doing it because of the questions and the complexity of the world we live in right now.
Well, one of the main things he had to face when he came to Canada was the question of the papal visit for the reconciliation of the Indigenous people with the Church in Canada. As you know, there was a great deal of harm that was done through the residential schools, and the Church has taken responsibility for that. And many people felt it wouldn't be enough for just the bishops of Canada to say sorry. They wanted the Pope to do it. And so he came. And the nuncio had a major role in planning that visit. He worked very carefully with Archbishop Smith in Edmonton and the other bishops across the country, Quebec, in Nunavut, and he did a marvelous job. So he was able to collaborate and coordinate all that work.
Fantastic. So with his work, his inspired dialogue and understanding across the cultural divides, how has his work inspired that?
Well, he served many other places before coming to Canada. He served in Ukraine, he served in Russia, he was representative of the Pope in Europe, the European Gathering of Nations. So he's a very accomplished diplomat. He had so many portfolios that were very responsible. And so when he came to Canada, it was a great honor for us to receive him. And I think he felt honored that he was invited to come to Canada. It's a great challenge. And of course, Canada is a multicultural country. We have the founding nations of the Indigenous peoples, the French and the English, then all the people who come since then. Many Italians, many Spaniards, many people from Latin America, many now from Africa, especially from French-speaking Africa. Our Archdiocese of Ottawa is blessed by many people from Haiti. So that multicultural thing that his experience in Europe is a big help for him in Canada.
So you mentioned the multiculturalism and the French influence that we have in Canada and continues to be. I would ask if you would answer the next question in French for us. How does the nuncio live out the Jesuit ideal of being a contemplative in action?
Monseigneur Yurkovich, c'est un prêtre qui prie beaucoup, qui marche chaque jour 20 000 pas. Il écoute des podcasts, des balados, puis avec ça, il réfléchit sur les questions de la foi au Canada. Et il me semble qu'il fait ça tellement bien. Il est un homme de grande capacité et d'originalité et de profondeur. Et c'est la profondeur qui lui donne cette capacité de réfléchir et prier pour la situation au Canada et dans le monde entier.
Fantastic, thank you. And
Do you know what I said?
Yeah, no, I understood most of it, which was really good. Can you share an experience that you've had that demonstrates his profound impact on individuals or on communities?
On individuals, I would say it's his ability to relate to bishops. Each bishop is different. Every bishop has an extraordinary, difficult challenge where he lives. He's been across Canada. He's been to see people in situ in their place where they work and where they live to understand that. And he brings his own gifts there of affirmation and encouragement. Obviously, he also faces challenges when the bishops have difficulties. He has to try to mediate those things. And he does it with a kind of gentleness and a kindness towards the people involved. If a bishop's having a rough patch, people report to the nuncio calls them in and says, how can we help? And I think that's one of the gifts that he has, is he's a merciful, kind, gentle person. I've sensed that myself in all that he said to me and all that we've done together.
So, for a little bit of a fun fact, what does the nuncio like to do? What's he passionate about?
He's passionate about lots of things. He's passionate about astronomy. Last year at this time, April of 2024, we went just outside Montreal where there was totality. And he has a whole collection of astronomical material himself, telescopes and instruments. And he invited me to come along and take part in that. It was a beautiful thing. And I saw his zeal and his energy with that. He also is a great fan of the Los Angeles Kings, because there's a Slovenian who's the captain. He's a star, Arnie Kapitar. And so each time they come to Ottawa and say, well, would you like to go see the game? Yes. He said, unfortunately for the Senators, they've lost 2 out of the 3. But this last year, we beat the Kings 8-7 in overtime. He also likes basketball. He likes opera. He goes to New York, comes to Toronto. He's a multicultural person and a person with great gifts and talents and interests. And he shares those interests with other people.
Can you share how the Archbishop personally impacted your spiritual and community life?
Well, he lives in Ottawa, and my community is in Ottawa, and we invited him to come over. And he came over and was a big hit with the community. He affirmed our Jesuit vocation, and he encouraged us. And I find that from the moment I got to meet him, I said, listen, he arrived, and I said, I'm going up to Hearst Mousseline, and I want you to find somebody to take my place. I signed on for 6 months, and I've already been there 8. And so he worked with me, and 22 months later, we had a new bishop for Hearst Mousseline. But he listened to me, and he understood I was happy to serve, but I felt it was not good to have an interim bishop there all the time. You need to have somebody who is going to be permanent. And so he got a young bishop from Quebec to go up there. But we talked right away. And from the moment that he arrived, and we began our dialogue, we've been good, I would say friends. We've become friends over the years. And I think that gift for friendship is part of Magis, no? It's one of those things of saying, well, I have friends, but I can always increase the number of friends I have. And the friends can extend my joy, my peace, my love for Canada, for the world, for the Pope, everywhere. That's what he does.
So the nuncio, as you've told me about, is his commitment to putting faith into action. So would you, Bishop, please just talk to us about His Excellency's presence in Canada and how it demonstrates that commitment to putting faith into action, whether through supporting the local community or...
Partly what the nuncio does is he goes around and looks at the different significant places like seminaries, like convents, and new sprouts that are coming up of vocations to consecrated life. He goes there and he affirms them, he encourages them. He's a man of great depth. And for example, the Canadian Religious Congress meets every now and again. And while sometimes he can't go there, he gets another religious bishop to go and speak in his place. But he wants to be there, he wants to be present because he represents the Pope in Canada. And that's what he wants to do. So every year also around the feast of Saints Peter and Paul, he will have a reception at the nunciature, invite people from diplomatic corps, from French, different movements in Canada to come and celebrate together the Pope. And we had a big celebration for the 10th anniversary of Pope Francis' election. Now, sometimes COVID makes it impossible, but he's done a wonderful job that way of opening the house, opening himself to the church and the church to him and to the nunciature.
So just in closing, we'd like you to share something that we haven't asked that you have in your heart without showing your U.S. stripes that you'd like to share with the Jesuit Provincials dinner attendees about the nuncio.
Well, every now and again, the nuncio wants to appoint all kinds of Jesuits to be bishops, and I'd say that's not our role. And he's sympathetic to that. And I would say that he loves the Society of Jesus. He hit it off very much with our new provincial when he came in. They had frank dialogue. I think that's what has led in part to this nomination of Archbishop Jurkovic to be the Magis recipient this year. And I think that sense of affirming us and being with us and being joyful with us, recognizing the difference between a religious vocation and a diocesan vocation, of the diplomatic service and the service that we have as teachers and others and researchers. I think that sense of interchange and friendship is a positive thing. And I'm happy that I've got to know him. I've known other nuncios. I would say that I know this one as well as I know some of the others, but this man is a wonderful addition to those who served in Canada.
Well done.
Basta? Basta così? Okay.
Thank you, Bishop. That was perfect. Amazing.
You nailed it.
You nailed it.
You absolutely, and you know me well, you nailed it.
What can I say?
I'm hoping everyone